Hi everyone, my name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And today we're going to be previewing a game that is coming to retail called Freelancers, a Crossroads Game.
Yes, this game is designed by Donald Shults and published by Plaid Hat Games, who are helping sponsor this video. In this game, it's a fully cooperative campaign-style game where players are going to be working together as a band of misfits down on our luck trying to make some money.
That's right. We are freelancers, and we're trying to make some money because we don't have any. And so even though this is a cooperative style game, players are still kind of looking out for their own because what you do in the game kind of impacts your ultimate ending. Mm-hmm. And so similar to games such as Forgotten Waters, this game uses a web app that can also be used on mobile that basically guides you through each of the 5 different campaigns. And so today, we're going to be previewing just the beginning of the first campaign and also showcasing how character creation and customization looks like in this game to avoid potential spoilers.
Mm-hmm. But it's also worth noting that each campaign is replayable. If you are interested in this game, we'll leave a link to the pre-order page down in the description below. And lastly, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
And with that, we are ready to begin. So if you'd please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for our 3-player game of Freelancers, a Crossroads game. Welcome to our first location.
The Hub Marketplace.
The Hub Marketplace, that's right. Even though there's only 2 of us right now, we are set up for a 3-player game because this game actually plays 3 to 7 players, with each player taking on a different role. And if you're playing with fewer than 7 players, then you sort of divvy out each role accordingly.
Sure.
Now, before we get into the game, let's first discuss character creation and customization. And so as you can see here, we have already created our characters for this first campaign. And so the way that that works is each player is going to be given a character who has both a species as well as a job.
Sure.
And so the game comes with 2 pads of paper, one that holds all of the different species in the game. There are 9 different kinds, and one that holds all of the jobs. And you sort of just take 2 of them and put them together.
Yep, this is why we have these.
Yes, and then you name your character and then answer all of the questions that are on your species sheet so that you can sort of give a backstory before you start the game. Now, we've already done this. Our shared character over here is Jerry, the Mouser Paladin. I am Christmas, the Elf Ranger. I named myself Christmas. My starting weapon, by the way, is a sword.
Nice.
And so each of the characters has their own starting weapon, depending on who they are. My eyes are shifty. And so shall I just give my background story now?
Why not?
My story is my level 1 backstory. The generally held belief in the hub is that going out into the spokes is a bad idea, and exploring the rim is even worse. But me, I love that outdoor life. Hunting and fishing is fulfilling work, but I want to see the deeper corners of the world. I want to survive with nothing but my wits and a large walking stick.
Nice.
I want to wear the skin of a tiger and cook broccoli over a campfire. Who doesn't want to do that, right?
Mad libs going on here.
So I've taken the loathsome step of traveling to the hub. There, ensconced in civilization's cruel bosom, I have joined a freelancer company. I imagine our adventures will take us into parts unknown and really put my rad survival skills to the test. I just hope we leave this wretched city soon. And that's sort of who Christmas the Elf Ranger has become.
Now, I am Tommy. I'm a merfolk warrior. My fins are rotting, apparently. And so let's find out a little bit more about my backstory. So it's on the back of this.
Okay.
All right. Level 1 backstory. Fighting can be a great sport, but oi, it gets kind of repetitive. Protecting helpless villages from vicious raids? Did it. Viciously raiding helpless villages? Did that too. Heck, nice. I even killed the deadly ice of the western spokes. I guess that's what it is. Not that anybody cares. I've been a little depressed lately, blowing most of my coin on broiled seahorse. I'm in a heck of a slump, so in order to make a more fulfilling life for myself, I've decided to be a freelancer.
Oh, okay.
It's less legally questionable than my last dozen gigs, and this jerk named Garfield told me all about a new party that's starting up.
Beautiful.
I'm a lowlife.
So that is how you create your character.
Sure.
You kind of give a bit of backstory and then you begin.
That was the first time we read those, by the way.
Yes, that was. Very shocking. All right, so let's discuss the different roles people are going to be assigned. First of all, we have the Game Master, who is going to be me. The Game Master manages the app. Like we were mentioning, in order to play this game, you have to use the web app. So I have it set up here on my iPad. It actually walks you through all of the setup depending on which map you're playing. And it's also fully audio narrated. So you can kind of get into the story storyline as it comes about. We also have the bookkeeper, and that player manages the location book. And so the way that the game works is you're going to be going through a series of locations, some of which are going to be in this book, and some of which will be mainly on the app. The locations will be found on the map, and so the bookkeeper will specifically manage the location book, whereas the cartographer will manage the map. And so Naveen is going to be assigned the cartographer role.
And the cartographer's main role is going to be marking different locations, things that the app might tell us about that we want to kind of have a point of interest in the future.
That's right. You may want an artist to be assigned to the cartographer.
Not me.
Next, we have the medic, who's also going to be Naveen, and the medic manages our wounds. This is going to be a very important mechanic in the game because it is one of two ways in which we can lose.
Sure.
So if all 7 wounds are revealed, basically, the game is over. Next to that, we have the influencer, who manages everyone's influence. And so influence in this game is going to be the turn order deciding factor. And so anytime we need to make decisions or take actions and such, we're always going to be going from highest to lowest influence. At the start of the campaign, we randomly decided influence turn order. And over the course of the game, we'll have opportunities to gain more influence and sometimes lose influence.
Sure.
The influencer is also in charge of taking selfies, just so you know. Now we also have the lookout role, who will need to manage the various enemy dials. And so at the start of the game, these should all be at 0. Over the course of the game, whenever we encounter enemies, this will dictate their health, which will dictate how much damage we need to give before they're defeated.
Sure.
And finally, one person is going to be the scout. And so the scout must manage our time, risk, and threat, which is the other way in which players can lose the game. Basically, if the threat dial goes all the way to the end, which is over here, then it is game over. Now, the game is going to come with 5 different campaigns, and each campaign can actually be played in a single night. The way that a campaign works is you're going to start at the beginning of a map, and then the story is going to take you someplace. You're going to be crossing through the map, going through different events, visiting different locations, and eventually the game will end. The app will tell you when that happens and if you've won the game. And at that point, depending on how much individual influence a player has, it'll dictate how successful your ending story was. And so for this first campaign, our story opens in the hub marketplace, where our 3 characters are basically just trying to find a job. Yep. Looks like we've come to the right place. It is sort of the center for these kinds of things.
Sure.
Now, locations in the book are typically played over 1 round, but sometimes more, and each round has 3 phases. The first phase is the planning phase. As soon as you open the book to the proper location, whoever the game master is actually supposed to start the timer, because you go into the planning phase immediately. You're not supposed to stop to read all the different types of actions that you can take, but just so you know, the way that the location book functions is all of these entries here are a series of actions that you're going to choose from. And so anytime you see this sort of blue 1 person next to an action, that means only 1 person can take that action in that round. All of these green ones that show several people, more than 1 person can select that action. And so after the game master starts the timer, in influence order, players are going to select an action that they're going to take for this round.
Sure.
So are you ready to do this?
Okay, let's do
As
it.
the game master, I'm just going to start the timer.
Go for it.
So I would just hit that. And now we have 45 seconds. Oh my gosh, there's music.
Visit the junk shop.
Okay.
Well, Mauser is next, actually. Jerry is next.
Who do we...
let's have them pick a pocket. Why not?
Wow. Okay.
Okay,
I'm just going to help move boxes. So I'm going to go up here. All right. We've done it.
So it's just supposed to simulate some pressure on you. Obviously, because we're teaching the game, we were able to read some of these while the page is open.
Yeah.
But typically, you open the page, you hit the timer, and then
Yes.
it's kind of like, okay, figure it out.
Yes. You are encouraged to not read what they do. You're supposed to just make an instinctual decision. And so at these different locations, the area on the right here actually tells you what you'll be able to do there. And it's going to range quite a bit from drawing additional treasures, making skill checks, or sometimes punching in a certain number in the app that'll tell you a specific story-based event. So now that we've finished the planning phase, we move on to the actions phase, where we resolve these actions in numerical order, starting with number 1, help move boxes, which I think is the action that I chose, right? Christmas.
That's you.
So then I consult the action up here that corresponds to the action I chose, which is help move boxes. And at bold, it tells me what I get to do. It says might +1. So each player has 5 different skills that we are going to be using to perform skill checks. Might is one of them. Whenever you see a +1 or a plus however many to your skill, you actually get to cross off the leftmost space of that row. So I get to cross off this first space here. Whenever you cross off a spot that has a bonus on it, then you get that bonus immediately. And in this case, I get a gold. So I get to cross off my first gold here. Crossing off a space for that skill will get you a bonus die for whenever you need to make a skill check, which I'm going to do right now. So I make a might check. Whenever you make a skill check, you're always going to roll a 20-sided die plus whatever bonus die you've earned. Where in this case, because I've only crossed off the first spot here, I get my
Four-sided.
my 4-sided die. So I'm going to roll both of these together and add the values together. Right. Let's see. Something good.
13 plus 1 is 14.
13 plus 1.
You're at the max of the worst, it looks like. 1 to 14, you enter a certain code. 15 or higher, you enter a different code. So you're going to enter the code for 14.
So close.
So
all right.
The code on the app you need to enter is 3501.
3501. So you type that in and then hit go. Let's just hear a bit of audio, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Help move
I
boxes.
can help with those boxes. You tell the gruff Stiltkin behind the bronze giraffe store. He stops loading boxes and turns to you, sizing you up with his compound eyes.
I don't know.
He buzzes, leaning on his cart.
These are boxes packed with bronze giraffes. Your arms look skinny as heck.
Buddy, you don't know what you're talking about. You scoff. Just tell me where you want them. The Stiltkin looks skeptical, but nods at the cart.
Wow. I was judged.
Yeah. I think you're too skinny, man.
My character seems too skinny, apparently.
Yeah.
But I'm a
Lanky.
ranger. Anyway, I have 3 options now. What will I lift with? My back, my legs, or neither?
I would tell you your legs.
My legs? I guess I do have long legs. Let's just choose my legs.
Sure.
All right, let's see what happens.
Wishing Grunko, son of Grung, was there to help. You get down on the ground and confidently wrap your legs around the box, only to struggle with picking it up. The box slips, hitting you in your sweet tenders. It hurts, bunches. The Stiltkin uses its long legs to step over your aching body and continues to work as you crawl away in humiliation.
You take a wound.
No, +1 wound.
You quite literally tried to lift it with your legs.
Well, I wouldn't have done it like that, just so you know. But anyway, I take a wound. Whenever you take a wound, the medic
That is I.
must manage our wounds.
Well, here you go, Christmas. That's your wound.
Thank you. Each player has an HP of 3 health available. And anytime you take a wound, you're going to place it on one of those available HP spots. If I didn't have any more space, then the wound would go inside this bag where we are going to be drawing a lot of chits from anytime we need to spend time. If I were to ever draw a wound from the bag, then it would go onto our risk tracker. So it does cause a cascade of effects of sorts.
Yep, you don't want it.
That wasn't good.
No.
Let's continue.
Maybe you should have lifted with your back.
I probably should have. Well, that's actually it. I'm done. I mean, the one good thing is I've earned a bonus die
Yeah,
for
and some gold.
taking that action. So now it's your turn.
Yeah, so we have number 2 right here. That's where I went. It's visit the junk shop.
So at the junk shop, it says you can choose one of the following. You can trade, and that'll allow you to discard a treasure in order to gain 2. You can get something special by entering this code into the app. We don't know what
Okay.
that's going to do for us, so that's kind of exciting.
Okay.
Or you can treat yourself by just gaining a treasure. And whenever you gain treasure, you're going to gain the top card from the treasure deck.
Okay, let's go ahead and just treat myself to a treasure. Let's get
Wow.
1 treasure from the top of the deck.
Okay, there you go.
Let's see what this looks like.
I hope it's something good.
Frost. Okay, you may attach this card to a weapon. So then it's going to give
Nice.
+2 to this weapon. So I have a trident, by the way. I didn't mention that at the beginning. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to attach this to my trident. And now I have a frosty trident. A little stronger.
Yes, this is a weapon augmentation. And so this basically just improves the effect of your current weapon.
Sure.
You'll see other sorts of a wide variety, actually, of treasures in the treasure deck. You'll see armor, and each player has 1 spot available for armor. Sometimes you'll gain trinkets, and each player has 2 spots for trinkets. And so this deck actually gets shuffled, so you don't know the exact order of things that are going to come out.
Sure.
Very good.
All right.
So last but not least, we have the Mouser Paladin who's going to pick a pocket.
Pick a pocket. Okay.
All right.
What does that
So
say?
it says they get to increase their agility by 1. which
they also get a gold coin.
they get a gold coin, and they also get to use the 4-sided die now when doing an agility check, which they're going to do right now.
Sure.
So here's a 20-sided die and the 4-sided. Would you
want
like
me
to
do
do
it?
the
Sure.
agility roll?
So we're doing an agility skill check. All right. So
Yes.
again, we're looking for 15 or higher if we want
assume
a different
that's-
number.
Good.
17 plus 1 is 18.
Yay.
So we're going to be entering into the app number 3507.
All right, Game Master. I'm going to do it. So 3507. Let's see. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Just what do you think you're doing? The angry dog guy barks, looking down where your hand has slipped into his pocket.
Oh, you
I was
caught.
returning your wallet to you, you promise. Like hell you was, he growls. Go ahead, you tell him. You'll find it there in your pocket. He does so and nods to you in appreciation. Sorry for the suspicion, stranger, and thank you for the kind deed. Wait a second, my money, it's all gone. Oh dear, you say with a shake of the head. Alas, I found it in such a state. These are troubling times, after all.
You're a liar.
Indeed, he agrees, but you deserve a reward for the bother. Come with me to the bank, and I'll see you are properly compensated.
Wow.
Too kind, you say with a bow, slipping his money into your back pocket. Wow.
You little thief.
Our Mouser is not very kind.
So it looks like you get +1 treasure card and you get a coin.
Okay, so Mouser is actually rewarded for his
For his bad
evil deeds.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
They get a trinket. So this is the chain sword. As a camp action, which we'll discuss later, you may discard this card to retrieve a specific card, S48, which is a chain sword from the story deck. Now, during this preview, we're not going to be able to dive too much into the story deck, but just so you know, this deck of cards is never to be shuffled.
Right.
It is arranged in numerical order.
So you can find things like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So we would go and fish that out when the time is right.
Okay, so this character only has space for one more of these kind of cards, by the way.
And if ever you need to take more than you can carry, you can choose to discard one if you'd like. We also gain a coin. So let's go ahead and gain an additional coin. And so because they gain that additional coin, there's a symbol there that shows that they get to collect a luck token.
Nice.
So there are a series of other sorts of chits that we have off screen that'll either hurt you or help you. Our luck token, as the name suggests, is a good thing because for each luck token you have, whenever you need to make a roll, you can discard it to re-roll. So that's quite useful.
Useful. Yeah.
All right. So now that we've resolved all of the actions, that is actually the end of the round. So we're going to enter in this code, which is 3509,
Sure.
since it is the round end. So 3509. Go. And we're just going to go ahead and summarize this end of round passage. Basically, at the end of the hub marketplace, we come across a dwarf fellow with a magical air about him. It is Mr. Veldemax. And so they are looking to hire us, which is, of course, what we've wanted.
Freelancers.
Exactly. And here we discover that the mission is to slay a dragon. So the instructions down here say draw something to remind you that there is a hermit at space 85,
Okay.
our
There's
cartographer.
the legends of this hermit at 85.
Here, would you like this pen?
Yeah, that seems like a nicer pen than what I have. A hermit. I don't know how to draw a hermit, so I'm gonna put a little star here.
You can just make an H.
An H. Let's go H. That's good. Smart.
And then you have to draw a dragon on map space 87.
Okay, I should probably try to draw a dragon here. So
So-
here's where the dragon that we need to slay apparently lays.
That is
So
our final destination.
Let's
is
see
what it
how
says.
good of a drawer I am. I'm terrible. It's gonna be
Do your
bird
best,
wings.
dragon, Naveen.
And there you go.
Very
Bang.
good.
It's like a it looks
like
like
a
a
fly.
bumblebee or a fly. I didn't put flames. Maybe I should have put flames.
Heard it here first.
I'm only gonna make it worse if I continue to add to that.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay. So then now we are actually directed to close the location book and then travel on the map. And so we're just going to go ahead and leave it open for now since we're not going to be exploring other locations in the book during this preview. But at this time, we are now going to consult the map and we're going to travel.
Yep. So
And
we started here at the
Yes.
hub market,
Yes.
marketplace. So
Uh-huh.
now you can only travel along lines, obviously. And so the next place that we're going to travel is to this campsite right over here.
Okay. So then we would consult our app, and on our app is a list of all the different locations that you'll find on the map. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tap the campsite, which is up there, and then now we have some more passage, some more story. And so there's a bit of flavor story text here, but we're basically just resting at this campsite. It says down here that all players may heal 1 stress or 1 corruption from their character sheet. Now, corruption which looks like this, is something that neither of us have earned. But if you collect these are bad. Because whenever you need to go and make a skill check while you have a corruption token, you are not allowed to roll a bonus die.
Any of those augmenting dice.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in that case, you would discard the corruption token, and then the next time you can roll your bonus die. So that's sort of how these function. And by the way, anytime you travel, which is what we did just now, you actually have to spend a time. So we didn't do that.
Yeah, you don't just teleport.
Which is cheating.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and draw a chit from the bag.
All right, so let's see. We get a...
One risk.
One risk.
Okay, so this is going to go specifically in the top row of risk tokens. As you can see, the symbol matches, and that's all that happens. As soon as we complete an entire row, then this chit goes into the bag, and it'll do whatever it does. These are all randomly distributed, and then we increase the risk there, which is not the best.
Not what we want happening, yeah.
Yes, it's kind of the timer for the game.
It is what it is.
Okay, so back to our camp scenario here. If the party chooses to spend one time, which would again require us to draw a chit from the bag, all players may choose to perform one camp action from their character sheet in influence order. So we each have a series of camp actions that are all detailed at the bottom here. And these are basically like one-time actions that you can use for the entire game. You would cross that benefit off, and now you cannot use it. And it's going to be stuff like reducing the risk by 1 or healing an HP. I think I'm just going to forgo that.
I don't think we need to.
It's not worth the risk.
I think
right now.
all players have to agree on this.
Yes, do we agree?
I agree to forgo it.
Okay, so then we're going to hit done. We are pretty much done, and then now we can travel again.
Right.
So shall we travel to one last location?
Yeah, sure. We don't want to give away too much. So the next location from here is going to be this location right over there.
Why don't you cross off the location that we visited and draw our lines?
I'll circle it.
I'm going to spend the time now.
We're now going here.
Because we don't want to
good
go
luck.
there before spending the time.
All right.
And here we have another
Yeah,
risk.
it's
So
not
let's
good.
go ahead and place that there. All right. So let's go ahead and visit our final location for the preview, which is going to be the fortune teller.
Okay.
All right, so we pass a fortune teller whose cart bears enough cliches to assure of authenticity without being culturally offensive, which, let's be honest, is reassuring these days. She beckons you over and you all eagerly circle around her, hoping for something good. She speaks to you, only her words seem aimed at the cosmic entities, and she asks, "How y'all feeling about swear words tonight?" Anyone not feel comfortable about that? It's best if everyone is honest.
Oh, okay. I think it's kind of telling us.
Do you want to do swears or what the hey, let's try it?
So, yeah, let's do it. What the hey?
Let's try it. We're all about swears at this table,
let's
right?
swear in this one.
Okay. The group chooses a player with the filthiest mouth, and that player gains the title, the foul mouth.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I don't think you and I are willing to admit.
Let's put that on Jerry.
So let's put that on Jerry, the mouse.
Jerry, how dare you?
Throughout the game, we are going to be earning titles, and you want to earn as many titles as possible because we want to be very prestigious sort of characters, right? And so anytime you earn a title, you're going to write it in on the right-hand side of your page here. So would you care to write in Jerry's title?
All right, what is it again?
The foul-mouthed.
The foul-mouthed.
Yes.
Okay.
The left suggests a lawful title, where the right-hand side, which is the one that Jerry earned, is chaotic.
Chaotic.
So go ahead and circle that.
All right, chaotic Jerry. You are
Now-
the foul-mouthed.
Now, as soon as you earn your 4th title, you gain 1 XP. And XP is all tracked on the backside of your job here. And so that is going to determine what kind of ending you have. So you want to try to gain as much XP as possible. And as soon as you've earned your 8th title, then you gain another XP.
Sure.
So just so you know. We're going to leave the rest for you to discover on your own.
Sure.
Now, just a few things that we didn't discuss during this preview. Some locations in the book will be you going against enemies. And so for that, you're going to be using the lookout dial to manage the enemy health. And over the course of the game, we'll have the opportunity to gain followers and learn more about the story from the story deck as well as from the app. And so we're only able to scratch the surface of what the game has to offer. The game comes with 5 replayable campaigns where each campaign can be played in a single night.
And so for more information about this game, there is a link to their pre-order page, which is down in the description below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you all so much for watching the video. We hope it was helpful. If you'd like to see more like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.